How's it going, everyone? Welcome. This is Konnex TV, episode 39, with the amazing Walt Ziffer. He's a senior vice president at One Digital Retirement Wealth. He's a financial planner. He's a very smart individual. If you guys need financial advice or something, he's your guy to talk to. You got to get to know Walt Ziffer. He's the number one guy in finance right now. Walt, how are things going with you?
Everything's going well. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. We're so glad we had you on the show, Walt. We met a while ago. I think you're really doing really amazing in your industry. We really want to get to know, what's going on in Walt Ziffer's world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell us about your background, how you got started in this. How do you help people?
Yeah, it's a very non-traditional pathway to where I started and where I am. So, originally I had dreams of building race engines and motorcycle engines. And so I thought that being a mechanical engineer was the pathway to do that. But 2.5 years into engineering school and hadn't touched an engine or anything physical other than textbooks and theory and mathematics and science, I became a little disenchanted with that career path, and then was really enjoying some of the elective courses that I was taking, and then decided that I wanted to go into law. So I ended up with a double degree in sociology, English, and don't laugh, with a minor in women's studies. And then I said not to laugh, and and graduated and started looking for a law school. Took the LSAT, and my parents said, well, why don't you see what else is out there before you commit to the cost and time of law school? And I said, I understand. And a friend of mine's father recommended the financial services industry. I decided to look into it. I got a job. All of a sudden, I realized, sitting in a senior advisor's office, sharing an office with him in Bethesda, on the bookshelf were these books about ERISA law and IRAs and estate planning and all these rules and regulations and law. And to make a 32-year story of my career short, I found that there's a whole subject matter in the legal field and very technical field that most of the advisors in that office didn't know about, didn't want to know about. They were very focused on the product sale and not about the process and the planning and being a consultant. And so I took the other pathway and quickly established myself as a subject matter expert in the office. And then these long-term advisors, insurance salespeople, whatever you want to refer to them as, would bring me out for the technical aspect of setting up a 401k plan, assisting with how to structure a buy-sell agreement, an executive comp benefit, how to best utilize the tax efficiencies of various products, and then how to structure a proper estate plan to avoid federal and state estate taxes. And then I quickly adopted a fee-based model when everyone else was still heavily in commission, and I realized that the pathway that I was going wasn't a fit for the firm I was with, and decided the only way to provide my clients with the right types of services and advice and solutions was to go out on my own and establish my own firm, which I did, and was able to unshackle myself from the corporate mandate of, you need to sell more of this, you need to be focused more on that, and being able to truly serve my clients in a fiduciary fashion before being a fiduciary was even a buzzword. So I was a very early adopter of being fee-based, very early adopter of committing myself to a fiduciary standard to clients. And that resonated very, very well among the clients. I did virtually no marketing, and they just referred me to their friends and family and said, this guy's different. He's not going to try to sell you an insurance policy. He's not going to try to, talk you into some high commission, solution that maybe isn't a solution. He's actually going to listen to you. He's going to be very objective and then recommend a solution that's in your best interest, not in his best interest or his firm's best interest. And so that served me very well. And then that earlier in February, to solidify my business continuation planning, I merged and became acquired by a wonderful organization called One Digital that really needed someone that provided the types of services and solutions that I do, the retirement planning, and personal financial planning in the DC area. So that was a geographic location where they needed someone like myself. And after doing my due diligence, I found that they would be a great partner for the next chapter in my life.
Mm-hmm. Is it difficult going from corporate to running your own business or becoming a business owner?
If it's what you were born to do and you embrace it, it's very easy, right? Because it's the only way to serve your clients and achieve the goals that you set for yourself. So it was an easy decision to make, but yes, the transition to go out on your own um, can be a little scary, especially when you're young and starting a family. But I was very fortunate that all of my clients came with me. When I left the firm in Bethesda to start my own firm in Gaithersburg, my clients were very loyal to me and continue to be, and continue to introduce me to their friends and family and other business owners that benefit from the type of work that I do.
Makes sense. That's great. I mean, that's great
Yeah.
achievement. Go after that yourself. A lot of people watch the show, want to start their own business or get involved. Lots of entrepreneurs, by the way, that need help with planning and startups and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
how come the location Gaithersburg? Why not DC or anything? Is you like the area? The market is nice.
Well, I started working in downtown Bethesda, and in the 90s, uh, kind of dating myself now, right? I've been doing this 32 years. I was looking for a good location to be a permanent. So I was living in Rockville, and there was this new up and coming neighborhood that was modeled after what they had built in the Reston Town Center called the Kentlands.
Mm-hmm.
And so, new construction, I was able to get a 2-bedroom, condo that I could afford to buy, and all the amenities were in walking distance. So it became very attractive, and the commute from the Kentlands to the offices in Bethesda were very convenient. And then ultimately, I built a house just right outside the Kentlands. And then when I established my own office, I established it right in the Kentlands. Then after I outgrew the offices in the Kentlands, there's where you've been before, my office, right here on the roughly Gaithersburg Rockville border. A new Class A building that only had a few tenants. I was very fortunate to be one of the first tenants and actually pick the square footage and build my office out the way I wanted. But it's very convenient. It's right off 270. Easy to get downtown, easy to get to Northern Virginia, easy to get to the airports. It just worked out to be a great location. And of course, years into it, with downtown Crown being developed, and then the Rio being overhauled and expanded, there's just pretty much anything that I need is within a very short distance.
Yeah, I love that area also. I'm glad you're there. That's how we met, in the garage.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're there.
Yeah, we met in a parking garage. That sounds very ominous, but it was because of our love and passion of automobiles.
yeah, and talking about automobiles, you have one of the best automobiles out there. So
Which one do you believe that would be?
the one that's, so how much horsepower you said your McLaren has? Something like 1,300, something like that?
Yeah, 1400 horsepower. Yeah, the McLaren 720.
Yeah, that's something amazing, and I definitely want to talk a chat with you about that. But more importantly,
Okay.
your actual experience that you have in the market. A lot of the viewers here want to know. Some people have never had a financial planner; they don't know how to manage finance. So, kind of like a basic, generalized question. What do you recommend people starting off? Maybe they're having some money, they got some money stored away. What kind of like general advice would you say? Save 20% of your income, put into the stock market. What's your opinion?
Yeah, so I would say that there's no situation that is too basic or an account balance that's too small to start planning. And it may sound corny, but nobody plans to fail. They fail to plan. So having a roadmap to get to where you are, point A to point B, is very important because it allows you to set goals, benchmark those goals and make sure you're making the right decisions today. So I would say, absolutely get started, have a disciplined saving strategy. If you're young, then yes, I would recommend, an equity-based portfolio, whether that be stocks or real estate or something else where you're investing as an owner. Whereas when you're, getting closer to your distribution phase of life, then you would want to have a greater amount in income generating assets or, including fixed income.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
But
So
yeah, but having a coach to, make those decisions. I mean, a lot of people have great intentions. As you know, you've met a lot of entrepreneurs that want to start their own business. And, sometimes you need a coach to help you, take that first step. And the same thing with wealth planning, which encompasses both financial planning and investments together, wealth planning. It requires that you have a coach there to assist you in identifying your goals and then allocating your resources accordingly.
yeah, so having a coach or mentor to help build wealth, you have a greater chance of actually becoming wealthy if you have someone managing your finances.
Yeah, the studies have shown that those that have a coach, and whatever degree they may be engaged with, have better outcomes than those that do not.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with people are humans and they tend to make emotional decisions rather than financially prudent ones. And so I wouldn't say financial planners are devoid of emotion. They just know when it applies and when it does not apply.
Makes sense. Did you ever have a financial planner yourself growing up that helped you?
I had, great parents that taught me, the discipline of saving up and buying something versus, borrowing or going into debt. So my dad was not he was an engineer. They weren't financial advisors, but they did teach me some core values about money that have served me very well and enabled me to champion the efforts and goals of my clients.
You think savings is the biggest thing, discipline for people, just making sure you save some portion of income you have and invest it? Is that important?
I would say that's probably the most important, because what happens is people adjust their lifestyle based on their income. And the problem with doing that is that it's very difficult to then backfill in a savings component. Whereas if you save first and spend second, it's okay if you spend what you have as long what after you've saved, because you've done the saving first. So savings first, spending second. It's very difficult to do it the other way around. So if you set your lifestyle with the amount that you have after your savings, then that is a key to building wealth and having options later in life. um, Time value of money is significant. Compounding interest is significant, and the earlier you start doing that, the better. And if you start it early, you actually end up needing to save less than if you wait 5, 10, or 15 years. So I've done a lot of analysis in the education programs that I do, showing the cost of waiting, showing that if you wait 10 years or more, you actually have to save double the amount just to catch up if you save half of the amount 10 years earlier into your career. So, I tell people this all the time, you're never going to be as young as you are today, right? So the sooner you start saving, the better off you'll be, the more options you'll have. Doesn't mean you have to retire young. It just means if you want to, you can be in a position to do so. And that's a nice place to be, to work because you want to later in life, not because you have to.
That's
And it all starts with, a disciplined saving strategy earlier in life.
such a great quote. I think we're going to quote that, put that on the front. We really like that. So, and
Sure.
another thing I've noticed too is, if you're working at a job, it's very, very easy. They'll take the money out of your paycheck, go to your 401k. So it's simple. But when you're a business owner, people, I mean, even myself included, we have a tendency to take everything we have to put it back into the business. So how do we, navigate that financial field of having the discipline to maybe self-direct into a 401k, or in that case, hire a financial planner? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, even a self-employed individual can have a 401k plan. They're very efficient. So if you don't have any employees it's actually very cost effective. There are many vendors that do not have a cost associated with a basic, owner only plan document. And if you have a good year and you fund it, then you're saving a lot in taxes. The money you save on taxes is even more money you can put back in the business. And as not all businesses work out. So the fact that you put something away rather than put all the risk into your business, could help you with with whatever the next chapter in your life may be. But I would not recommend foregoing, getting that started early and having that. Another benefit of a 401k is they're creditor protected. So, if you work hard and for whatever reason your business doesn't work out or something bad happens, whether it be an auto accident or, a lawsuit that could destroy your business, the nice thing about a 401k plan is, they provide creditor protection. So you'll still have, those assets. And also it's the discipline, as we talked about earlier, the consistent savings, not living, paycheck to paycheck or spending every dollar you have. You can strike a nice balance and still be able to reinvest and build a business as well as fund a prudent retirement plan strategy.
That's great. That's such great advice. This might be a little technical, but what about like certain financial vehicles, products, that you'd recommend? What do you think are the best types? And I mean, in terms of like savings accounts, CDs, insurance plans, maybe like equity loans or something. What are the different products people have to offer to put their money or store in that you advise?
Yeah. So, I mean, I look for what the best solution is for the client situation, right? So every situation is different, every client's different. But when it comes to having an emergency fund, I wouldn't recommend a CD because of the penalties, or sometimes, I mean, some are, but most of them aren't liquid. And these days, money markets or checking accounts offer the same return as a CD, but you want that money flexible and liquid. Retirement accounts are for retirement. They shouldn't be viewed as anything else. If you're saving for your children's education, then, a 529 offers great, tax benefits, but you need to match up the solutions with the client's needs and goals, not a product that everyone should have. Everyone is different.
I see. Yeah, sometimes we always hear about, buying certain insurance plans or something like that, and you can draw lines of credit from that. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, I'm very familiar with those types of products. Again, it depends on, if it makes sense and if that is the best solution. But it all starts with goals. We start with not the solution or the product. We start with the goals and get to know the client's situation and what they're trying to achieve, and then make the recommendations that match up with those goals and objectives.
Okay, makes sense. We'll really appreciate that. It's very helpful for our audience. And what about, maybe like basic financial books, things people should study, like accounting books, or anything certain, like The Intelligent Investor? It was Warren Buffett's first book, or his mentor told him. Anything like that you recommend, or that you read personally that helped you?
Yeah, I think any education is better than no education. So I absolutely recommend that. The danger is, there are a lot of articles, there's information, but there's also misinformation. And then you read a lot of publications that clients have come to me and said, "Oh, I read this article that suggests I do this or I do that." Those are typically written for the masses, and you may not be, average or match up with what the audience, the intended audience was for that recommendation. So that's why I never recommend anything specific, because I don't want to treat all my clients as if they're all the same or they're very similar. I want to approach the relationship and the situation, without any preconceived notions or assumptions, and meet the client, get to know what their goals and objectives are, then make the recommendations accordingly.
That makes sense.
But yeah, there's a lot of great information out there. You just got to be very careful to make sure that it actually applies to you. But I would prefer a client, have education than none at all.
Makes sense. Education is a very powerful tool here. So
it is indeed.
Talking about clients, how is your client base now? Do you have ability, bandwidth to take on more clients? Do people need to have minimums to work with you? What's your qualifications?
Yeah, so we don't state any minimums. Most of our clientele are referrals from existing. We definitely have capacity. I'm adding a junior. I've added a junior advisor to the practice, and I'm going to probably be adding one or two more, in the next year or so, and then also expanding the team that services my corporate 401k plans as well, and also integrate with some of the other offices and folks in and around the DC area that are also part of One Digital. There's an office in Baltimore that has a team of people, and so we're going to be talking about a more collaborative relationship once I get fully acclimated and my transition is completed at One Digital, which we're getting close to doing.
Well, I hope that goes well for you. That was the next question, is your expansion and what's next. So how do people find you right now? Do they just go to One Digital?